Hey guys, it's Jessica here, and today I decided to do a story time. Well, see, usually I don't do story times, but yesterday my mom took me to a building that was all too familiar, and it just made me think about doing one. So about 2 years ago, my mom and she picked me up from school, and she decided that we had to go to the unemployment office. We went there because she had to get some papers signed because she's looking for another part-time job. So, we walked into the building, but we weren't unaware of the time it was closing. So I guess we just got there in the nick of time, and she got to put the papers in the mailbox or something like that. I don't know exactly what was happening because, I don't even know how that works. So we got there, and then my mom's just like, okay, well, Jessica, just come to the washroom with me because I have to go to the washroom. So this is stalls and stuff, and obviously girls just always go to the washroom together. There's nothing weird about it, and we do. I think it's because of Harry Potter. So anyway, we walked into the washroom, and I was just waiting outside, and my mom was doing her business in the stall, and I was just, so what happened was, when she was done, she washed her hands, and I got our paper towels, and she dried her hands, and as soon as we left, we noticed that some of the lights that were on that were off now, and we're like, oh, well, maybe those people in the office just left, right? So we didn't really think much of it, and when we walked to the entrance, we noticed that the ladies behind the desks were gone, and we're like, okay, this is getting weird. Maybe we should just leave. They're about to close. So when we walked to the doors, there's a pair of double doors, and they're both glass. So we got through one set of doors, and then we were about to leave the building to come to the outside world. We pushed on it, and it was completely locked. And we're like, oh my god, we're going to be stuck in this building. And I was kind of panicking, but then again, I wasn't. See, I watch all these horror movies, and I get scared really easily. But, I like horror movies, so I'm not really going to stop. But, I freak out, and it was completely dark, and there was only a few lights on and you could tell the doors were there because of the exit signs. And my mom, she's claustrophobic, and she's like, oh my god, we're gonna die. And so we were banging on these doors, and these pedestrians were walking by, and they just looked at us. They smiled and waved, and they just continued walking. We're like, are you kidding? We look like we're panicking. Aren't you gonna call someone? Because we didn't have our cell phones. See, my mom, she doesn't bring her cell phone to work because she works in the kitchen, and she has to leave her stuff in the public so that she doesn't want someone taking her phone. And I didn't take my phone to school that day because, see, some days I just don't take my phone to school because I don't think I need it. So I have my backpack and my coat on, and that's about it. My mom has her coat on and an umbrella, and we are just stuck here, and we are freaking out. My mom's claustrophobic, like I already said. And when we were about to go back into the building to look for a security guard, we noticed that the other set of doors were locked. So we're stuck in a box like this. And, it's a glass box, but I don't want to stay in this box. It was kind of cold because of the outside, right? So we were looking for a security guard and seeing we were banging on the entrance doors. And so I thought maybe if we could get a hold of the security guard, he'd let us out. But then we noticed that there were no security guards. There were nothing. There's no one there. In my town, nobody really robs anything. So there's no really need for any security guards unless there's high bank things, so banks or something like that. But there were no security guards in this unemployment office. So yeah. So my mom just kind of something clicked in her, and so she started panicking a little more, and she started banging on the outside doors, and we heard this big click, and she pressed on them again, and they were unlocked. We broke the lock on the door, and so I'm like, oh my god, Mom, we just broke a building. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, we'll just leave. And so we left, and we came back, and we left for the hour, and we were just on the streets talking about how scary that was, being locked in a building. And so I'm like, Mom, we still broke a building. Shouldn't we tell someone or something? Because I'm a do-gooder, and I don't feel good about breaking something. And then she's like, oh, yes, you're right. So we walked back, and we went to open the doors again, and they were locked again. So I guess we didn't really lock the doors, but somehow we got them open. And it was just a scary thing, but I guess, like, I didn't die. I didn't have to stay there overnight. But I was in there for like half an hour. And I think that was pretty scary, being locked in a small space with my mom, because she gets scary when she's scared.